Hey guys, Professor Bill of Comic Book University, and it is now time for another Marvel Superheroes Advanced Role-Playing Game System rules check. I'm going to be starting a quick little series right now. We're eventually, just as a heads up, I am doing all of this stuff as a sort of a preamble to just, get these things kind of out of the way. We're going to start working on magic, the realms of magic, very soon. But first, I feel like we've just got to get a bunch of the basics out of the way, all right? So eat our main course, and then we're going to get into our dessert later. So when we're talking about tactics and different ways to actually fight, different things like the ground strike, or if you're just talking about, a regular hit or grappling and all these different things, one of the things that will always come up is the concept of multiple attacks, multiple opponents. So even though multiple opponents is something that happens much later in the book, specifically page 30 of the Advanced Players book, I'm going to get into that first, because that's always a huge thing for me. I'm always thinking to myself, how can I knock out as many people as possible as quickly as possible in just one round? So that's me. So we're going to get into this first, and then it's going to be fairly easy to apply this to everything else later on instead of coming back to it in a single video. So we can handle them all as we touch upon them. So multiple attacks, there are two different ways to handle this. You ever seen that situation where Captain America is about to fight all these people and all of a sudden everybody just dogpiles him at once? See, not everybody treats Captain America and a lot of our heroes in the Marvel Universe the way that Bruce Lee's opponents treat him, where it's like one personal attack at a time. It's like, you surrounded this dude, bum rush him. And they're all just like, no, we will fight with honor. I will fight first. And then when he's not looking, I'm going to jump in. And then like, dude, come on. Seriously? Dogpile the dude. Anyway, Captain America doesn't get so lucky, so people dogpile him all the time, and that's fine. He's going to attack multiple opponents at the same time. Now, this first way of handling multiple opponents, this will apply for blunt slugfest, okay? So they're talking about barehanded punching. I personally am going to completely disagree. See, it says that it's going to be for blunt slugfest and for escaping and energy attacks, whether it's concussive, so force attacks or energy attacks. I'm of the opinion that this goes for anything that is melee minus wrestling, okay? Sometimes wrestling. But for the most part, I'm up to applying for just about anything. But, like, why can't Wolverine just swipe at multiple people at the same time? I'm not entirely sure. But the rules state this is for blunt slugfest. Okay, let's just go with that. So all these people jump Captain America, and he kind of just, does that thing where they all go flying. So this is him hitting everybody, doing a little bit of his damage to every single one of these people, unsparingly. In the book, again, it says he's got excellent 20 strength, but in the more updated books, remarkable 30 strength. But whatever you want to do, however you want to play it, that's cool, baby. That's cool. Either way, he's going to apply his strength to every single one of them. But in order to hit them, he's going to make one attack, but at -4 column shifts to hit. So I guess you could apply his martial arts B to this. So Monster 75, bring it back, 4 column shifts, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to roll on excellent to be able to hit all 4 of these guys, or all however many people are on him. They've all got to be in the adjacent area. So they've all got to be right there with him so that he can reach out and grab any single one of them. If he can punch them, then he can hit them. That's weird, but yes. Now, the way I look at this is this applies to pretty much anything and everything. If people are, surrounding Mockingbird and she pulls out her Eskrima sticks and she just spins around in this big thrust and cracks them all across the face, I think that this applies there also. If a bunch of people are coming after, if the Wrecking Crew surround Thor and he just does this big sweeping arc with his hammer or spins the hammer on the unbreakable thong. I always love the name of that, the unbreakable thong. Anyway, I think that applies. If they're coming after Wolverine and he just does one of his whoosh things or just, a wide swipe, a big swathe right through people, or Black Knight, he just, a big wide cut. I don't understand why this doesn't count to the exact same thing. That's just me, though. But hey, man, you apply to what you want. The book says it applies to blunt slugfest. It applies to escaping. Which is that thing that Captain America does. It applies to force attacks and energy attacks. So there you have it. If Shang-Chi drops low and does a sweeping, an arcing sweep kick to all these opponents right in front of him or all around him, if he does a 360, that counts. If I know that Cyclops and Havoc both have a wide beam attack, which will reduce the energy that they use, but that is a very different thing. That's for a cone, and that's for people farther than an area away. While the range will be depleted, you're still talking about like 3 or more areas. This is only the people in your immediate area or one area adjacent that you can reach all of them. So this would rather be like Cyclops doing, like turning his head while he's firing his energy attack, or Iron Man, instead of, trying to pick off people one at a time, he just kind of goes whoosh like that with, a sweeping, or even with his unibeam, just, like that, turning around and blasting everybody. So that is how this is handled. So once again, everybody that's there, you're going to make 1 feat. It's not going to be against anybody. You know what I'm saying? It's assumed that if these people are all grappling you or right on top of you, they're not going to be able to dodge this. But their dodge, that's on their own. That's on their own in their pre-combat. If they choose to utilize that, that's on them. And it'll be against you're fighting or whatever you're using to hit at -4 column shifts. So you're -4 column shifts. And as long as you get a green or above, you have hit everybody equal damage to every single one of them. Not disseminated evenly, equal damage to all of them. So if you've got excellent 20 strength, 20 points to him, her, it. There's a robot in there somewhere. The darn LMDs. So that's the situation. That's how that's actually going to work. Now, that's the first option. The second option is actually my favorite. This is the multiple attacks. This is instead of just doing, boom, the haymaker to somebody, you're, the 2-shot, or boom, 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 the 3-shot, okay? Up to 3 attacks. Now, if you want to hit, all of these are going to be at -3 column shifts to hit. Excuse me, that's not true. I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself. Keep that in mind, but the way that this is going to work is you have to make a feat roll in your pre-combat. Now, remember the way that the action turn goes. This is back to my first 3 videos. The action turn goes, the initiative, what do you call it? You call what you want to do in your turn, and then you're going to have your initiative, and then you're going to have pre-combat actions, and then your actual actions. And mixed in there will be your movement. So you will have your pre-combat actions, which can be like, pull out my sword, or dodge, that last attack that just, hit me. So all of these things, all right, all these different things. So in your pre-combat action, you're going to be like steadying yourself or reading your opponents really quick to do multiple attacks. So you got to do that instead of dodge. You've got to do this instead of pull the shield off of your back in one swift motion, just that's what you're going to have to do. So, so you're going to make a feat roll. It's going to be a remarkable feat roll if you want to do 2 attacks, or it's going to be an amazing feat roll if you want to do 3 attacks. So if you're just going to do your regular attack, you're going to roll to hit in your regular action roll, right? Let's say you've got incredible fighting, all right? You're Wolverine level, you're a tough guy, you're Nick Fury level, and you're just going to go and slugfest someone. You roll incredible to hit, and they've got to roll against whatever you swung at in order to try and make a dodge or whatever they're going to try and do. That's on them. But let's say you want to do 2 shots, maybe 2 shots against the same opponent, right? And mind you, this can literally be choo, choo, shoot 2 different people far away. So you're talking about distance attacks also. Anything. Spider-Man wanting to web 2 people instead of one person. That's how this is going to be taken into account. So you've got to make your intensity roll. So if you got incredible fighting and you want to hit 2 people or just make 2 attacks, using this second method, you roll against a remarkable feat roll. So that means that you've got, since you're incredible and this is only remarkable, you've only got to get a green to succeed. That's simple. That's simple. If you've got 1, 2, 3, if you've got monstrous fighting, then it's an automatic thing. You can always hit 2 attacks without even rolling for it, because that's where it comes into the automatic feat ability. But you get my gist, right? So yeah, so somebody like Captain America, he can always do 2 attacks per round when he's using barehanded. And if he's using his shield, where he's +2 column shifts to hit because of weapon specialty, he can always pull off 3 attacks per round, because that only requires a monstrous to go. So yeah, like that's these characters that we're talking about. That's these characters that we're playing with. Okay, so actually that would be unearthly. Okay, so never mind. Thor can always hit 3 people. Anyway, so once you've done that, boom, you're done. That's it. But let's say you miss, okay? And mind you, that means you're gonna have to that pre-feat means that now you can make 2 or 3 attacks against these characters. So now in your actual action round, that's your pre-combat, right? Now in your actual action round, that's when you can make these 3 individual hits. So you can miss with each one of these, you know, because now you're rolling against your incredible, your remarkable, whatever it is that you've got, in order to hit each of these people or the same person 3 times. So let's say you want to just, you know, bap, bap, bap against them, or just boom, boom, 3 full haymakers, whatever it is that you're trying to do. You've got to make 3 attacks against this person. There are no negatives to hit at this point because you succeeded in your multiple attacks roll. That's kind of cool, right? Now, let's say in your pre-combat you fail your multiple attacks roll, whether it's you're trying to hit 2 attacks or 3 attacks. If you fail, once you have actually failed, not a big deal. All that means is you can still make 1 attack, but you're -3 column shifts to hit. I broke into that by accident already, right? You're -3 column shifts to hit. Okay, so that's that. Or is it? There's actually a power. If we're going to turn to page 86 in our player's handbook, there is a very cool power that we could incorporate instead. Now I just have to actually get to page 86. I don't know why I actually need to be there because I've already memorized the darn thing. But the point is that here it is, page 86, extra attacks. Now, the way this works is this is going to be a power that you have where you're just able to do this. If you've got the extra body parts, extra arms, let's say you're like Goro from Mortal Kombat, and you've got 4 arms, you know what I'm saying? You've automatically got the extra attacks ability, right? So one of your attacks could be to grapple the person. The other 2 attacks could be to pound on the person. Actually, if you succeed in the, what do you call it? In the grapple, like with a full hold, then you get an extra attack anyway. So you could grapple and then get 1, 2 extra attacks and your 3rd extra attack also. So yeah, that's pretty cool, I think. Anyway, this is how that's going to be featured. So with this power, this is going to give you the ability to, in your pre-combat roll, make an extra attack, make your extra attacks roll using your power instead. And the power is at a minimum of +1 column shift to your fighting. So think about that. Let's say you've got that incredible fighting. When you're going to go for multiple attacks, you're going to roll under amazing. If you've got martial arts B also, or if you're going to be using your weapon specialist ability or your blunt weapons talent or whatever extra ability that you've got, when you are attacking, you're going to be going your multiple attacks power rank plus whatever your skills are. It all counts. All of it. It all counts because it doesn't say it doesn't. You could be a mean judge, but that's on you, man. In my opinion, if you've got the talents to do these things, you incorporate the idea of I've studied the martial arts since I was 8 years old. And yeah, every single martial art I've studied in deals with, you know, combination moves, the fluidity of, okay, while you're down here, you now have the ability to do this, and the idea of being able to hit multiple attacks on someone. So yes, I am fully in support of the idea that your talents will apply towards your multiple attack. So the power gives you at minimum of +1. Let's say you've got excellent fighting, but you roll amazing for your multiple attacks power. Okay, you're only 20 points to hit all 3 people, but when you want to try and roll in your pre-combat in order to get the multiple attacks ability off, you're at amazing. All right, you're at amazing. Monstrous if you got martial arts B. So hopefully you get the gist. This is a very cool power to have, and it only gets better because let's say you miss. Let's say you go for your multiple attacks roll using your power, all right, at +1 column shift or better of your fighting ability. Check this out. There is no penalty if you miss, meaning that -3 to do the one attack does not apply to you. That alone makes this power worth having, in my opinion. So every single time you should be rolling to get multiple attacks if you've got the multiple attacks ability. Because if you fail, oh, I only get to make one attack. Yeah, do it at -3. I got the power, literally. So you get to fail at multiple attacks over and over if that happens. And there's no penalty to you. You still get to make your one attack at your regular ability. That is magnificent. So a very worthwhile power to have. Guys, as we continue with this series, I will go into multiple different ways, like grappling and charging and all sorts of different things like that, and trying to use multiple attacks in this trying to apply multiple attacks to these powers. I'll try to remember. Charging is going to be an interesting one. Grappling will be a fun one. All right, that's it for me, guys. Professor Bell, Comic Book University. You keep gaming. Cue to music.
Thank you.